Is this a reliable tool, or is it going to let you down when you need it the most? We're going to find out right now. Also, we did pick up probably the most reliable, my most used tape measure that I've ever owned, the 16-footer Fat Max for an electrician when you're strapping pipe every 10. Our last company required every 8 feet, every 10 feet. Why do you need more than 16 feet on a tape measure unless you're doing layout, which would be a 25, or you're just going to go get the whole roll of the 100-foot tape? I believe that a 16-footer, the more lightweight you are, better off your back is going to be in the long run. I prefer a 16. And we also picked up this razor knife from Klein Tools. I bought all this with my own money. Let's get into it. Let's see, do we even need a knife to open this? The answer is no. Looked like it had a... Oh, that might be useful depending on the situation. Yeah, I didn't think so. Huh. All right. See the thickness? Pretty similar. Blade storage on this one. Doesn't have magnetic blades. Wow, that magnet looks very familiar. See the square? See the square? Interesting. It's going to be a good magnet though. Whoa, that's a lot of blades. I'm not going to stop and count them. You guys can count them yourself later. Jimping on the top. Push button. The push button's very similar too. This seemed like it had a little bit more access there. That blade looks a lot more useful than the round. Just saying. How much blade is revealed. Knife clip looks better. Rounded over. This is always better on your jeans. Like, it's not going to tear up your pants. If you carry a blade on you, you guys know what I'm talking about. These don't tear up your pants. It's good that that's at least flat and rounded, but more likely to tear up your jeans. But let's be honest, nobody likes a stupid paper clip hanging out of their pocket. This is going to look better, but this button sticks out a lot more. This button sticks out a little bit less. I've been liking the Klein blades. I bought a pack of them. They've been pretty decent. I like the blackout. It's comfortable in the hand. Time will tell. Let's get the knife open. Or, let's get the screwdriver open. So this has the bit storage in the back and a little pocket clip there. Bit storage in the back there. Does not rotate, just goes straight in and out. Has the control driver feature. Nice because it stays in your hand while you're able to spin it. And let's see, how is this going to insert? Oh yeah, magnet on the back. Does it extend or is it just a magnet? Okay, non-extending magnet, which is fine. Pretty strong. Yeah, pretty strong. 7 1/4 size on the Knipex there. Is that it? No, there we go. Okay, that's better. Very functional. That gets in the way of a little bit, but there's going to be some sacrifices with a multi-tool always. It goes all the way in there. I feel like this thing could have somehow extended out. I'm not sure how, but it's just weird having a magnet that short on something. It's like you may as well just use your finger by the time you have the magnet. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Why don't they have the hex up here? They could have easily put the hex a little bit closer up here. It wouldn't have changed anything. And we would have at least like been further away from our fingers. Like, what's the point in having a magnet here when I could just pick up with my fingers? That's my 2 cents there. I'm just thinking out loud. If this hex was up here, we could have like started out here and then it'd been like, okay, we'll get a little bit more reach. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I was really trying to reach something, I could hold it here, use the magnet back here, but just strange. All right, so what sizes do we have on here? Do we have a number 2 Phillips? Because that's what we need. We need a number 2 Phillips. They lock in there pretty nicely. There's a number 2 square. That is a PH2. Yes, it is. It almost looks rounded over like a PH3, but because it's a small bit. I gotta tell you, man, they don't really go in here very easily. There we go. You gotta pay attention to how you're putting it in there. Nice, nice. Locks in there. That's supposedly a number 2. Even though it's rounded over and weird. Let's try it out. Got a 2x6 here. Got a sheetrock screw. See how far we can go as far as the leverage with one hand. So we're using this right here. This is the saving grace of this screwdriver. The clip does get in the way, but you get some good leverage right here and here. We are completely sunk. It's got some pretty decent leverage. Time will tell. With leverage like that, though, you know, this is probably viable. Okay, so we are spinning the pocket clip right now. See that right there? Pocket clip now spins. Is it supposed to spin? Looks like we can pop it off. Aha, so if you don't like a pocket clip, you don't have to have the pocket clip. Well, that's nice. At least it wasn't like a permanent thing that we broke. Snap it back on there. Yeah. Okay, so my complaint here for the design, they should have put a hex here. They could have put a hex here. Would have made the magnet a little bit longer. The magnet just feels like an afterthought, man. They could have done something else. I don't know what they could have done, but they could have done it. Is that a 5/16? Because that is potentially very useful in a pinch. Let's find out. All right, so it is not a 5/16, but it is a quarter. So any other bit will fit in this thing, give you that much more leverage. That is a nice feature. There's a 5/16 for a Tapcon. Does not fit, but does it grab? I'm trying to see like the storage abilities of this. For like certain bits. Does the double-sided bits fit in here? Fits pretty nice. Double-sided go in there. Gonna have even more leverage than the original bit. Let's try that out. All right, we got a 2.5-inch construction screw. Pull this clip off right immediately. No point in even trying to keep it. Indexing, of course, is always going to be a problem with screws this big. Definitely feeling the burn here. We are no longer able to turn this with one. Oh, no, we can actually. I can anyway. I wouldn't want to keep doing it. Like I said before, you're definitely going to want to be grabbing here. This is the saving grace of this screwdriver right here. We are through the wood. Smooth sailing from here. And probably one-handed now. Yeah. It's got some incredible leverage for the size. I'll give it that. Everyday carry with leverage? Sure. Nice small bits here. Of course, if you really wanted to, you could throw, you know, one of these in there. The bit storage is nice. I do like that we've got the number 2 Robertsons. You got a pretty decent sized flat there. Nice for trim screws. This is probably going to be really good for inspecting because the 5/16 nowadays have the number 2 squares, and I feel like if I can drive this, I can probably loosen a panel screw or two. Have this always in your pocket. You know, I think it's a really good option. Also, I do like that is low profile now. So the reason why there's no hex here might be because they wanted to be able to make it low profile and fit in your pocket. So there's a give and a take there. I think it's cool the way it is, just like this. This is pretty cool. Now that I'm thinking of all the practical things, that's why I do this on camera. We can all figure it out together. This could have been a 5/16, that'd have been cool. This could have been a 5/16, they could have made this wider. I don't know. I don't know, they could have flared this out a little bit more just here. Made this a 5/16 insert and then tapered it down. It's kind of cool. You can put the 1/4 inch in though. We could have had 5/16 flare out on the top and then the 1/4 inch deep. So we could have just went beyond that 5/16. Got to the 1/4 inch. So 5/16 flare out could have been up here. I'm just thinking out loud. What do you guys think in the comments below, man? This one's pretty cool with this screwdriver. We got one more thing to show you, and it's a practicality test of this driver. So if we've got our new flex nailer here, now this is kind of a spoiler because you can see all the nails we put in here, but this is solid maple. And we did pick up the flex 23 gauge pin nailer here. Let you know what I think about it. We got some nails in here. We'll go ahead and put a little 2.0 battery on it. Stacked lithium. Now keep in mind, when you get a 23 gauge pin nailer, doesn't matter what the brand is, you always want to have that secondary trigger because the heads are so small, there's no safety mechanism to stop you from just squeezing this trigger and firing. So, secondary trigger always. You buy one of these from Harbor Freight and you got your kid working with you in the shop, bad things are going to happen, man. All you got to do is just pull the trigger and they fire. So, let's see, can we get the pocket clip, belt clip, whatever you want to call it, on here. Let's get that screw. All right, looks like we are going to need a Torx bit for this. Looks a little bit smaller than a T25. What is this? It's a T15. Is it T15 or T20? It feels more like a T20, but the T15 fits. This is a T20. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so let's just try the T15, right? Let's say we needed it in a pinch. Can we actually get it tight? Oh, you know what? Also, check this out. We can also make this magnetic, maybe. Watch this. All right, so despite my best efforts, I was unable to make this magnetic. We just track it on here a bunch of different ways, and it just will not become magnetic enough. You can see where it's got just a little bit on there. If this was like a, you know, magnetizer built in, that would have been pretty cool. You can actually magnetize with the levels because they have a little bit more. Yeah, see, this magnet just doesn't have the enough whatever to it to do it. So it would have been cool, but it just didn't do it. The other thing, and by the way, I lost the footage, so we're having to reshoot this a little bit. This is what we ended up having to use because the T15 just was too small. T20 works great, and we're able to get the belt clip on. So we'll just do that for you real quick right now. I like how it's got that control mode where you just hold it here and you can get your leverage on there. It's a very capable EDC driver. Really don't have many complaints about it. Now, the flex here. I like how there's no like buttons to hold and turn on, and the Milwaukee has a button you got to activate to turn it all on. I like how this thing's just ready to go. As soon as you pop the battery in, ready to go. I like that. Okay, so let's see here. Here's the nails here. We might even hit some of these on the way. And we did. Really sends them in there. Like if I'm holding this loosely, you can see where it bounced right out. If I'm holding this loosely, you can see where it kind of knocks the wood forward, man. It really sends them in there. Definitely still has nails. And yeah, this is solid maple. So this is very powerful. 130 bucks right now at Lowe's. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.